Donald Trump says the war with Iran could end soon. But Tehran says Washington is still relying on threats, fighting continues in Yemen, and concerns over the Strait of Hormuz are pushing oil prices higher. At the same time, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, and Turkey are preparing for high-level talks that could shape the region's response to the conflict. Let us begin in Washington. Trump told reporters that he did not believe Iran could continue fighting for much longer and expected the war to end pretty soon. He also dismissed reports that the United States was running short of some weapons. Trump claimed the country had what he called an unlimited supply of ammunition and remained in a strong military position.
We had oil down to less than two in many places like Iowa. Oil was down to gasoline was down at numbers that people hadn't seen in years. $1.85, $1.95. So it passed Tuesday. I was in Iowa at a stop, and we had $1.95, another one $1.85 a gallon, and we'll see those days pretty soon again, based on everything I see. As soon as the war ends, and I think it's going to end pretty soon. I don't think they can go much longer. Fortunately, I built up so much during my term. I rebuilt the military and also loaded it up with a lot of stuff. We have certain types of munitions that are very powerful, that we have virtual unlimited supply. We have others where it's a little bit tighter, and we're getting them in on a daily basis. As you know, our defense companies are building more plants right now than at any point in history. They're building plants for the Patriots, for the Tomahawks. So we're in great shape. But with that being said, we always want more. We have to have more. We have other things maybe come up. Maybe come up and maybe don't come up. Hopefully nothing else does come up. But we're in very good shape. We have literally massive amounts of ammunition.
His comments came after he once again threatened attacks on Iran, only to later say they had been called off because the broad outlines of a possible agreement had been reached. Tehran is openly questioning that account. Iran's parliament speaker and chief negotiator, Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf, accused Trump of repeatedly switching between military threats and offers of negotiation. He described the approach as theater diplomacy on loop and said Washington was using threats, broken promises, and misleading claims to pressure Iran. Ghalibaf called on the US to meet its existing commitments rather than publicly announcing attacks and then presenting their cancellation as diplomatic progress. Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian has also highlighted the economic cost of the war. He said US economic pressure and joint US-Israeli attacks were causing Iran to lose around 230 million cubic meters of gas every day. The claim could not be independently verified, but it points to the growing damage to Iran's energy sector and the pressure Tehran faces to find a way out of the conflict. That pressure has not ended the wider regional fighting. In Yemen, government forces say Houthi missile and drone attacks have killed at least 18 soldiers. The Houthis said they targeted emergency forces positions in Marib and Hadramaut with ballistic missiles and one-way attack drones. The group also claimed to have destroyed weapons and military vehicles.
قامت قواتنا المسلحة بعملية عسكرية واسعة ونوعية استهدفت تحشيدات العدو السعودي في مناطق الرويك والعبر والثانية ومعسكرات أخرى تابعة لما يسمى الفرقة الأولى والثالثة طوارئ بعدد كبير من الصواريخ البالستية والطائرات المسيرة. وكان من نتائج العملية ما يلي: مصرع وإصابة المئات من مرتزقة العدو السعودي، تدمير وإحراق عدد كبير من معسكرات وتحشيدات ومخازن وأسلحة العدو السعودي في منطقة الوديعة شرقي البلاد، تدمير عدد كبير من الآليات العسكرية المتواجدة في المعسكرات المستهدفة. إن القوات المسلحة اليمنية تحذر العدو السعودي المجرم من أي حماقة يرتكبها ضد بلدنا وشعبنا، وسيتحمل عواقب أي تصعيد. ننصح المغرر بهم والمخدوعين من أبناء بلدنا بمغادرة معسكرات العدو السعودي والعودة إلى مناطقهم قبل فوات الأوان.
The attacks are the latest sign that the conflict involving Iran and the US is continuing to overlap with Yemen's civil war. The Houthis have also attacked Saudi targets and threatened commercial shipping in the Red Sea, prompting growing concern over maritime security. Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman discussed those concerns with French President Emmanuel Macron during a phone call. According to the Saudi press agency, the two leaders spoke about regional stability and protecting freedom of navigation in the Red Sea. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has also discussed the situation in West Asia with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, as governments outside the region assess the security and economic consequences of the war. But the most significant diplomatic meeting may take place in Saudi Arabia. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan is visiting the kingdom on Friday, where he is expected to meet Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman and Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif. Shehbaz arrived in Saudi Arabia on Thursday for a 3-day visit accompanied by Pakistan's Army Chief Field Marshal Asim Munir. The official agenda has not been released, but regional reports suggest the talks will focus on the Iran war, maritime security, and defense cooperation. The meeting follows months of coordination between Egypt, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, and Turkey, a group of regional powers sometimes referred to as the R4. The four countries first met in Riyadh in April and tasked Pakistan with helping lead efforts to bring Iran and the United States towards a settlement. Their foreign ministers have held further discussions in recent days, suggesting that the Saudi meeting could be used to finalize a coordinated regional position. The gathering is particularly important for Pakistan and Turkey because both share borders with Iran. Any further escalation could have immediate security and economic consequences for them. Pakistan also has close defense ties with Saudi Arabia and has repeatedly offered to carry messages between Washington and Tehran. The four countries bring different forms of influence to the table. Pakistan and Turkey have significant military capacity. Saudi Arabia has financial and energy influence, while Egypt remains a central diplomatic player in the Arab world. Whether that is enough to move the US and Iran toward an agreement remains uncertain. Elsewhere, tensions between Israel and Turkey are rising over Syria. Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Saar accused Ankara of violating Syrian sovereignty after his Turkish counterpart, Hakan Fidan, said Israel was destabilizing the country. Saar defended Israel's presence in a buffer zone inside Syria as necessary for its security. He accused Turkey of maintaining a much larger military presence in the country. The dispute adds another layer of tension ahead of Erdogan's discussions in Saudi Arabia, particularly as regional powers consider what the post-war security order could look like. Meanwhile, Iran says talks with Oman over the Strait of Hormuz are close to producing an agreement. The two countries have reportedly agreed on the coordinates of possible shipping routes through the waterway. But Tehran has also proposed barring vessels belonging to countries it considers hostile and imposing heavy fines on ships that violate the new rules. That has kept energy markets uneasy. Brent crude rose 1.2% to $83.48 a barrel, while US crude climbed to $78.84. For Pakistan and other countries that depend heavily on imported energy, any prolonged disruption in Hormuz would mean a higher import bill, greater pressure on fuel prices, and wider inflation. So while Trump says the war may end soon, the region is still preparing for several possible outcomes. Iran and Oman are negotiating over Hormuz. Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, and Turkey are coordinating the response. But fighting continues in Yemen, political tensions are rising over Syria, and oil markets remain nervous. The diplomatic activity may be increasing, but the Middle East is still some distance from a stable settlement.